Have you ever wondered why you crave so many carbohydrates, especially the sugary ones, when you're under a lot of stress? Well, I'm going to share that with you today, and most importantly, at the end, I'm going to give you my top 3 steps in eliminating sugar cravings forever. Number 1, when you are under chronic stress, wait a second, Brad, I'm not under chronic stress. Well, perception equals reality in the face of stress. Let's face it, we worry constantly in this day and age about everything. It could be bills, it could be the argument that you had this morning, doesn't matter. That is a stress response to the body. So most of us have elevated levels of stress hormones. That, by the way, is called chronic stress. When you have chronic stress, you send panic signals to the brain. The brain wants you to be happy. It doesn't want you to be depressed. And when you are not happy, you have lower levels of the feel-good chemicals, especially serotonin. The brain knows when you have high levels of stress hormones, you're going to have lower levels of feel-good chemicals. So what ends up happening is your brain says, I need to elevate these feel-good chemicals, and in order to do that, I'm going to eat carbohydrates. Your brain understands that when you give into these cravings for sugary foods, you're going to stimulate the hormone called insulin in response to those foods. And when you stimulate insulin, you take away the competition for one amino acid that is able to get into the brain and manufacture more of a feel-good chemical called serotonin. By the way, when you're depressed and you go to the doctor normally writes you a prescription for an SSRI or a selective serotonin reuptake inhibiting drug like Prozac or Zoloft or Paxil or Meridian, and the list goes on. By the way, your brain is doing the same thing, but it's elevating the chemical by stimulating insulin in response to you craving more carbs. The problem is this is very fleeting, so you only feel good for a short period of time, and you need more of those carbs to stimulate more of that natural chemical response in the brain. So now that you know why you're craving those carbohydrates, what do you do about it? Well, here's my top 3 steps. Number 1, hydrate, but hydrate properly. What I mean by that is your body is not 75% coffee or tea or juice or pop. It is 75% water. So give it what it needs. And if you're one of these individuals that has been drinking the sugary beverages, and you know the ones I'm talking about, forever, then what you can do is you can flavor your water, but do it naturally. Give it things like a cucumber, berries, squeeze some lemon in your water, if that's what you need to start to train yourself to drink more water. Number 2, stop, for goodness sake, stop the mindless eating. The mindless eating is when you're eating and not thinking. When you're sitting in front of your television set or your computer screen, you're working away and you're just shoving food in your mouth, mostly the carbohydrates again. Start to think before you eat. Understand that the foods that you put into your mouth are going to affect how you feel afterwards. So when you take a second and think about what you're about to eat, you will normally make better food choices. And number 3, and by the way, this is not going to be an easy step, but it's going to be worth it. Stop using the drug. The drug is the sugar. If you keep giving into the sugar, you're going to keep stimulating that roller coaster response of needing those carbohydrates. Is it going to be easy? No way. But is it going to be worth it? Well, let me ask you this. If you woke up tomorrow morning feeling absolutely incredible and having the energy that you had when you were a kid, would that be worth it?